can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
What we gonna eat no money, what we at you, eat no at you. COVID money, miss away in the little rat you. Use the youth, the money, waste my musta manti statue. Say me like a catch you, but me got in a figure you. Take this script of money, girl, and say that it's not you. One day the man above end up, him a got a bet. Too much it in the kitchen, some a fly well like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me.
300% raise.
It burn me.
Garbage pile up the day.
It burn me.
Give the teacher them raise.
It burn me.
I see corruption peace.
It burn me.
Mash down the people them house.
It burn me.
Every day appear arms out.
It burn me.
Appear money them a thief.
It burn me.
And them a sell out with each.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
Come me say dig up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The urgent the promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, them rap and they down in our fever. Member bold money and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like thief when them sell.
It burn me.
Or they treat the market man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the cat man.
It burn me.
Or they treat the peanut man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the dirt man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the sun man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat policeman.
It burn me.
Or them a treat soldier man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat everyone.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again.
Stibby-dim day. We in Global TV says certain kind of friend we no keep. And some informer friend we love like. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on the cheek, come here represent for. We in Global TV, check it.
Good evening, and happy Friday to you all. There is breaking news. Send a call everybody and tell them so we have the breaking news to discuss. Breaking news a pop off in the Gleaner. Dr. Campbell with him case. I'm going to explain something to them because it's a narrative out there fly. Fly like BJ. No, sir. And them your people if you call madams. Anyway, how no do? So go call them and tell them, say we're going to explain the breaking news. According to narrative, Dr. Campbell Darwin. So them say. So, we will explain the narrative after them cook it up with the judge and them order the judge. I will explain why a judge would throw out a defense in a defamation lawsuit. To my community of party and all my family members, good evening. Platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, and subscribers, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us on the Global Television Group this evening. Elaine Turner, good evening. Debbie Jervis. Good evening. Agency Driver 5, Wagwan. Beat and Teach. Wagwan. Veteran, Wagwan. How you do? Who else there? Sunshine, how are you? Natalia Freeman, how are you? Violet Watson. Darth Elliott. Michelle Lewis Wilson, God's Gift. Miranda Roddick, Audrey Robinson, Donette. Sharon Robinson. Joan Bailey, Carlene Dummer, real sweet. Good evening, and welcome. Good evening. Tash, good evening. Jeanette Riley, Jem Ashley, Marcia Stewart, Rossin Henry, good evening and welcome. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Our healthcare is really in crisis. There is woofing and waffing of the issue like a ping pong ball, from doctor medical to doctor market me. But, Lorraine Barnett, we will get into that later on. Because I said Dunstan, come draw some card. Who called the game, Dunstan? Dustin or whatever your name, Dustin. Who called the game is the question to Dustin, because Dustin just a walk and make up his son. JP, Dustin just wake up out and sleep and hear say I saw it go. Who called the game, Dustin? Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Who called the game? Kind of want to walk and blame everybody but on yourself. How? And that on learn at school. Me say if I that on learn at school. So when Bangarang hit on a Sharon Bernard, blame everybody but on yourself. It is everybody's fault. It's because of and them and they and theirs. Why it never happened. But let me get over to Bangarangs first. But let me guarantee you something first. Or should I read this first? Yes. PNP's General Secretary, Dr. Dayton Campbell, has won his defamation lawsuit against political activist Karen Cross, Natalie Stocks, which is Sunny Days, and Michelle Stern. The Supreme Court has struck out the woman's defense and sent the case to be assessed for damages to pay to Dr. Campbell. Cross has been ordered to remove offending social media posts. Court has also barred the woman from any public comment or publication of the allegation that prompted the lawsuit. More to come. I can guarantee you they will go to prison. Let me tell you why. Brittany. They don't know when to shut up. They don't know when to shut up. Karen Cross is not a police. A justice of the peace is not a police, James. And the allegation Karen is alleging against Dr. Campbell. Then if Karen wants the case to make sense, Andrea, what Karen should have done is have the young lady reported the so-called or alleged crime to the police. You, Karen Cross, or a justice of the peace, cannot sign affidavit, Noreen Dennison. After you go there, go make a slander. When you can go get young women, sign affidavit in front of JP and think it's evidence. Why would a judge throw evidence out of court, a defense evidence out of court in a defamation lawsuit? Annie Jones. It is because it is frivolous. Frivolous in law, June 26. Frivolous in law means the story was made up out of malice and it has no legal basis. So for those of you who Mrs. Sunny Days out there confused, and I talk about FBI this and FBI that, when a judge throws out a defense, such a defense in a lawsuit. Uno I say 3 people sign it, whatever. So what? You are collaborators. It doesn't mean that you have corroborating statement, Delroy Swell. The fact that you are collaborators don't mean you have corroborating statements. Your defense would have been thrown out of court because the court find it to be malicious. The court found that your defense have no legal basis. Is how a court would throw such a defense out. Judges are experienced enough with Dayton Campbell and the PNP. Don't have to call them. But they are so desperate. I hope Lisa Hanna help them pay the legal bill. I really do hope Lisa Hanna help on pay the legal bill for this rant what she's turning off pan, all because in the leadership challenge, Dayton may have made comment against him, Pamela Akola, Sharon Bernard, that they think cost Lisa to lose the leadership race. Plus, them say, Bunting and them buy it out. And they have never stopped. Sunny Days can't go to Jamaica because the whole of them in a legal wrangle. And them are going to continue to chat because them don't really sensible like that, to be honest with you people. Remember, currently have to come on social media, come back for pay contempt of court money because while the case was in court, the judge put a gag on them from going on social media and keep repeating the offense. That never stopped Karen from doing it. And she was found for contempt of court. And she have to beg to pay the money. Christopher Murray, how are you? So this now go stop them. Them not sensible enough for this stop them. But this shows the audience. This rant about the PNP where Karen them depend. Karen them will walk and make up any lie just to garner support because them never have them way with PNP. Them never get them leadership. So therefore, make we use anything, pedophilia, rape, misogyny, murder, anything. Make we use anything to draw the party down. You would have thought a court decision coming down would have stopped them. No, it doesn't. They're not that bright. Or I wouldn't say not that bright. They're not that sane. Because they're well-read people. Precious Allen. They are not that sane. So this ruling now got to tap them for talk, mark you me. They are going to go to prison for contempt of court. Especially Karen and Michelle, whether Jamaica. The other one can't hide behind her. I'm an American citizen. She can't hide behind that. But Dr. Dayton Campbell may be able to register an interest against her asset, which is her YouTube channel. Dr. Campbell lawyers may be bright enough, Darth White, to know what to do. People know how to register interest when a court awarded damage. Register interest against any property you have. Register interest against your YouTube asset. It will, trust me, them now go stop. Them doing that saying, just give Karen a buckle. Give Karen a buckle tonight and all hell break loose. This is why even Sunny Days and Princess out there, a bark like wailing dog over nothing, Gloria Maris. Just a bark galang so. And they know that they lied. And them still come out and appel the lie them same way. And when the lie them put them in a mystery. Monica Horton. And if you don't help them, tell for them particular lie, then them turn over upon you. The worst part of them, though, is to see how Karen Cross, Michelle Stern, and Sunny Days, the Natalie Stacks one, Lockley Gregory, who call themselves Michael Manley PNP, can show them full campaign weight behind the Jamaica Labour Party and Andrew Holness. And nobody's attacking them. Claudette, how are you? Rowan Perry. Nobody's attacking them. But when you talk about the issues of Jamaica, Karen Cross and Sunny Days run come out and attack. We're hypocrites, we're traitors, we're this and we're that, and then pick up the brand Jamaica argument and run with it, because this is how Karen Cross, Michelle Stern, and Sunny Days behave. If anything we're going, them have to find a way to attach it to the People's National Party, Sharon Peer. All when the issue, and this is the lunacy of them. But you see, this is the problem with social media following. And I don't want my social media followers or supporters to follow me blindly anywhere. This is the problem with people like the audience what them have. The bitter, painful audience which is not able to look at the issues or bypass what is not working or will not work. You sit down and you tell the same old lies every day, and what you want people to do is join in and help you tell the lie them, fail lying. And then if people talk about the things that is affecting Jamaica, you go off and attack on them, they're traitors, they're this or that. And nobody now call on a traitor, fair work, full square, for the Jamaica Labour Party and a campaign for them on social media. Nobody is attacking you for that. You're not free to do it. But me tell you no, them are going to end up at prison. Just give Karen liquor rum. Give Karen liquor rum and see how Karen are going to come out like wild dog. Them can't help themselves. Them that cracked up. But I don't hope Lisa Hannah can help them to pay them legal expenses when the court portion it out. Because them not going to stop. Me I tell you no, them that crazy, they are not going to stop. Because they think to say. But what this should point out to their audience, the court found them as liars, malicious people. That's why court chose your defense, because it's malicious. It has no legal basis. So the court don't have no reason to entertain it. The court don't have no reason to entertain it, because your defense you claim to have submitted was malicious, frivolous in law, of no legal basis. Why didn't you encourage them to go to the police and report a crime if a crime took place? Hoya and JP, Karen Cross. Hoya and Justice of the Peace. I got signed affidavit. We're not investigators. Why are you using a crime, Karen Cross? You should have got a prison to Karen. Colleen Richards. You should have got a prison too. Because you claim to have known about the crime. You never met them go to police station. But what you done, Karen Cross, is take them and use them in your defense against Dayton Campbell by getting JP to sign their sworn affidavit, to use it in a defamation defense, Karen Cross. You should have got a prison too. I should have something where you could have got a prison for because you know of the crime, you know, encourage them to report, you know, make sure them go report it. Why when you take them to, rather than take them to Karen Cross, a justice of the peace, why didn't you take them to the police station? Hmm? Why didn't you take them to the police station rather than take them to a justice of the peace? So if there is a crime, Karen Cross, it can be investigated by the, you see how no loony. But because on a run out there and make an accusation, then on a run go fix on a defamation defense. With people don't say work carried if on a pay people picnic because on a politician on a lot of pay people to get involved and do no dirty work. The Lord accept them something the current class. A time for to shut up now. And if you know the social justice, you go over TikTok, but skin out like everybody else and carry on like a coronation market there. But both you all have lost credibility because there's no way back for Uno in a PNP. And under no circumstances, the JLP will ever trust Uno. As much as Andrew Holness is buying Karen Cross rum, and I get $15,000 now and then. It now go stop them. It might go continue with the rant same way because them three, they think they can take down Mark Golden, Dayton Campbell, and Peter Bunting. So they're going to run all kind of murder mystery, all kind of misogyny argument, all kind of how they hate women argument, how they want to kill women argument, and all sorts. Them now go stop. Them are going to end up in a prison for contempt of court. Remember, me tell you that. There are lonely vice out in the wilderness. Make you not go form one political party named Bitter Me, Bitter Me, Bitter Me. Huh? Elaine Turner, how are you? Why you don't go form a political party with him? Bitter Me, Bitter Me, Bitter Me, Bitter Me. Because the politics want to present, it's a politics of bitterness. It's not really a politics of what is wrong with Jamaica. It's not a politics of how we can fix Jamaica. It's always vitriol and bitterness. Revenge, want revenge, vitriol, bitterness, want revenge. Bitter me, loonies. Yeah. The BMLs, the bitter me, loonies. Murder. No, sir. But one of can assess, it's not too late for one to assess on yourself and see how much one make a fool of yourself on social media. Real cocoon on yourself, 9 miles. How are you? One make a real cocoon on yourself on social media. This case proved that on a lie and malicious. That is what this case is proving. That on a lie and on a malicious. And this is why your defense has been thrown out of this defamation lawsuit and damages awarded to Dr. Campbell. But may I tell you now, the next thing is going to happen, they're going to end up in court. They're going to end up in prison for contempt of court. They can't help themselves. They cannot help themselves. Let us listen to Dr. Market Me. Then we will listen to the medical doctor, Dr. Dawes.
and I are going through the statement by the opposition and will provide a fulsome response on the issues. I just would like to say that there is a report that can be had to clarify any misunderstanding or address any mischief as it relates to the PROMAC program. The fact is that many hundreds of Jamaican mothers and their neonates who are involved in complicated pregnancies and delivery have been supported by the PROMAC equipment and where the buildings exist through the PROMAC facilities, and we can provide better particulars on that. And so the program has been quite useful to the Jamaican people. The issues around ventilators, given the public interest, we have done the audit and can provide better particulars on that and will provide better particulars. And the claim around health needing reform, I cannot imagine that any informed Jamaican, and particularly the opposition, where it should be their duty to see what is happening and understand what is happening, could be claiming that somehow the public health system has not and is not seeing the greatest level of reform since independence. 1,000 additional doctors, 1,500 new places for nurses, a permanent post, more build out of hospital beds, operating theaters than ever before, certainly since independence. Diagnostic equipment leasing, which is leading to a more consistent and reliable outflow and use of diagnostic, and a primary healthcare reform that will see a life stage approach that will see over 370 additional doctors at the primary community level, as well as several additional services, not to mention the National Health Fund, which is prescribing some 3 million prescriptions a year from 1 million 4 years ago. More categories of illnesses is being added, subsidized prostate screening, breast cancer screening. So there is so much that this government is doing. And to hear the opposition make the claim that somehow the system needs reform without a recognition that the reform is in fact taking place, and tangibly so, where Jamaicans are benefiting, it tells me that they are either refusing to see or there's an attempt at mischief. And we will clarify that because I believe the Jamaican people deserve the truth and transparency around what is happening. So if we have to repeat it, we will.
18 and 25.
When I know Dr. Market me talk about Fitzroy Nugent, Joe and Bros, how no do. When I know what Dr. Market me talk about, but let's listen to Dr. Dawes now. Then we will go over to Dustin.
Help. It has borne out in the fact that many of those who supported me back then in my quest for a better public health system are now my most vitriolic accusers and critics, when my motive has not changed, whether this administration or a PNP administration. We know that there are truths and lies, and in politics there is the truth, there are lies, and then you have to look at clarity. And truth without clarity breeds the proliferation of lies. We have made a claim that has been rebutted that there is a shortage of ICU spaces or intensive care unit spaces in the public health system. And that has been rebutted with the declaration that there are varying numbers of ventilators that we asked specifically about in the public health sector. We're seeing numbers such as 122 ventilators, 105, 150, and one press release counting 54, including the University Hospital of the West Indies, which is not a part of the public health system. We know for a fact that many of these ventilators that were donated during COVID as a result of the efforts of the European Union and several private sector organization entities, as well as well-thinking Jamaicans, these ventilators are not in working order. For example, the Kingston Public Hospital, which is the main referral hospital in Jamaica, has a maximum of 8 working ventilators. Now, it's not hard to find 105 ventilators, and if you subtract
8 from that. That means you have 97 to be distributed to lesser upgraded and developed hospitals. So we know that many of these ventilators are in boxes, they're not commissioned, or they have been cannibalized, where one part has been taken from a ventilator to fix another ventilator that is not working. So we know this for a fact, that the donated ventilators are not operational. So we are seeing what can be described as fuzzy maths, where we do not know exactly how many are operational. I cannot tell you how many. The Ministry of Health and Wellness cannot tell you. What we need is an audit to see exactly how many ventilators are available island-wide and how many actual ICU spaces and HDU spaces or high dependency units, which are a step down from ICUs. How many of these units are available island-wide for Jamaicans who need critical care? Now, we have been focusing a lot on the donated ventilators during the time of COVID. What is disturbing is that we should not have been in a space where we were battling to get ICU spaces, especially for mothers and infants, because of a program that was conceptualized just about 10 years ago, the PROMAC program. So the EU gave money then, and the EU gave money again during COVID, along with other Jamaican entities and individuals. And we are still left in a situation where there's a dire shortage of intensive care unit beds and high dependency unit beds for adults and neonates. So the stories that we are seeing are not unexpected, because they reflect a systematic issue. And a big part of that systematic problem is that we have a maintenance issue and we have accountability issues. Now, the aims of the PROMAC program to decrease maternal and child mortality rates have failed because of some other incidents or other contributing factors. But the fact of the matter is that over the last 8 years, we have seen a steady climb in the number of mothers dying during pregnancy and delivery. The maternal mortality rate is the highest it has been in over 30 years. The neonatal mortality rate is higher today than it was 20 years ago. The number of children under age 5 who are dying is higher than it was 20 years ago. So there are measurable consequences for the failure to implement and maintain an adequate healthcare system.
This is how it is when you're hands-on in a department. You're an expert. You know the job. You know how to prioritize. But Dr. Mande, Dan Acton's Tash, Joanne, how are you? Kevin Fairclough. The crisis aren't we having a crisis in our healthcare system? One that is getting way, way, way out of control. Patricia Matthews, Evan Johnson. Isn't this a crisis in the Jamaica healthcare system? But I need to read 2 snippets for you that I did not have in my thingy this morning. So when you listen to the number, them calling on, we can't follow a number. 46% of ventilator in Southeastern Regional Health Authority are non-operational. An internal audit by the Ministry of Health has revealed of the 91 life-saving machine spread across the Kingston Public, Jubilee, Spanish Town, and Princess Margaret Hospital, as well as Bustamante Children's Hospital, which falls under Southeast Regional Health Authority. 49 are working and 42 are non-operational. Believe you me, the ventilator something I can't keep up with because you don't know me can't count and them keep shifting the number. So even what's for me. But some news coming from the Mandeville Hospital. The Southern Regional Health Authority is reporting that all newborn babies in the neonatal intensive care, NICU, we call it NICU over here, at the Mandeville Regional Hospital in Manchester are safe following a minor fire at the facility this morning. The hospital CEO, Alwyn Allen, explained that about 3:45 a.m., staff members were alerted by a smoke coming from the wall, but that house, the neonatal intensive care unit. So, hold on. Chief Justice Brian Sykes said it's difficult for a Jamaican to justify the continued maintenance of the Privy Council as the country's final court, blah, blah, blah. Justice Sykes, leave those debates to the politicians, Justice Sykes. Marine Song, how are you? You're saying too much in public, Justice Sykes. You're our Chief Justice. Leave that Chief Justice, listen, you know. That matter, Chief Justice, is not a matter for the court, Chief Justice. Is a matter for politician. And under the separation of power, Chief Justice, you ought to get out of these conversations. Separation of power, Chief Justice. You are head of the judiciary. You're head of the judiciary, Chief Justice. The other arm of government, which ought to be independent, Chief Justice, from Parliament. Whether Britain, whether Jamaica stays in the Privy Council, they move to the Caribbean Court of Justice or to the Jamaican Supreme Court, Chief Justice. That is a matter for Parliament. A matter for Parliament, Chief Justice, not a matter for you, Rochelle Williams. How are you? A matter for Parliament. It is Parliament under our Constitution, Chief Justice, that makes that call. Thereby, under the separation of power, you should butt out of it. Butt out of it, Chief Justice. As the Chief Justice of Jamaica, you're saying too much in public. In the Westminster system, as you all like to quote it, Untainted Congal, how are you? Chief Justice don't come out and just a blab, so. No, Brian Sykes. The issue of the final court, Brian Sykes, is a matter for Parliament. That's what the Constitution says. Therefore, Brian Sykes, your branch of government should not get involved in this conversation. Are you meddling in the other's power, Mr. Sykes? Are you interfering, Mr. Sykes, in another branch of government? Or are you inciting another branch of government to give you more power, Justice Sykes? Keep out of it. Keep out of it, Justice Sykes. This is a matter for politicians. Read the Constitution. You are the head of the judiciary. Juliet is the head of the legislature. Andrew is the head of the executive. That decision of the final court, Brian Sykes, as the Constitution says, it's for Parliament to decide, not the executive, Parliament. And it stipulates the vote on which. This is not an area where Brian Sykes should not talk about. Brian Sykes is the Chief Justice, and he must butt out of the legislature. Butt out of it, Brian Sykes. Understand your constitutional position, Justice Sykes. That's a matter for the legislatures, all right? Not for the judiciary. Back up. It's not your area, sir. But because Jamaica has a protocol, you see. Because they don't have no protocol. Rather than want to show up on that matter, the justice must be silent. That's a matter for Parliament. He's the head of the judiciary. He ought not to be meddling in that, especially at the fever pitch of that debate. Justice Sykes should know better than that. But Christopher Tufton friend them, sir. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Tufton said there are 100 and something registered ventilator in Jamaica. I think that's how they put it to 150 or 100 and what public health system. 118 of which are actively in use. When you see the discrepancies in numbers, Noreen Dennison, Tufton, who was speaking at a Ministry of Health and Wellness virtual press conference yesterday morning, said another 40 out of maintenance and 52 are obsolete. The data follows an audit of life-saving machines at the public health facility, Tufton says. Why, if you try to keep up with this number, bing, bam, baram, bing, bing, bam, barang, ooh, rang, marang, tara, turup, turup. Eugene Thomas, how are you? Brenda Elsie. Even the dead, even the dead have to help labor carry the cross. In addition, ventilator and spending crisis in the National Health Service. You hear me say? Even the dead will have to carry the cross. Nobody except for the dead will bear this responsibility this evening. Permanent Secretary Dustin Bryan has blamed the death, migration, and retirement of former staff for the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Hallelujah. Them attempt to fake us bad word, but I go and stay a whole year and ladies out tonight. Hey, Rebusha. Hey, even the dead. Wanna see where it reach? No, wanna see where it reach. Let me read again. You show me a dance. Me I'll read something when me dream about. Hmm? Because me so dunce, I can't dream me a dream and don't know, and just wake up and not sleep. I wonder if I not sleepwalk. Me a sleepwalk tonight. Hmm? Sleepwalking happy a go on round here, so even the dead. Hmm? Oh God Almighty, Jamaica Labour Party. When uno a go do something, when uno a go own up, say uno and a phone of fault, all dead people just stand. Jesus have mercy. Me no want dead near Labour Party. Me no want dead near uno, you know. Because uno a go turn around blame me after me dead. Me no want dead near uno. Hmm? Have mercy, dear Lord, upon dead people. Hmm? Have mercy upon dead people, Jesus. Because if labor ever tell lie upon you, in your grave, may I tell you, say, if we not there to talk, say nothing, don't go so. The whole world, hmm? The whole world I go believe say something go so. Me no want dead side down. Permanent Secretary Dustin Bryan has blamed the death, migration, and retirement of former staff of the Ministry of Health and Wellness inability to finalize its appropriation account for submission to the Auditor General. The Auditor General Department is awaiting appropriation accounts spanning 10 years, a decade, from 2013 to 2014, and from 2022 to 2022 and 2023. So prior to them coming up power, Dr. Fenton Ferguson and I think is it Kevin Harvey or something or other name, bros. They failed up until 2016 to submit a portion of them did that in 2013. I when Bruce Golding, I when Angela lost the election against Portia after Bruce give it to him. Well, the People's National Party failed to submit up until 2015. Because February 2016, Andrew them come to power, no so? So from February 2016, 2011, you said, so who you said did that in 2013? Which government did that in 2013 to 2016? Well, anyway, Labour responsible for 8 years of this lack of submission. You mean to say, for those stand people them, so okay, couple years under Portia administration, up until 2015. So from 2013, 2 years ahead, from 2013 to 2015, would be under Portia administration and them take over in early 2016. So 2 years at this failure, which when Dustin took over the ministry, he's under duty to make sure accountability of those 2 previous years were done or questions were asked. However, Dustin went on with 8 years of failure because I'm going to go find 2. He said, make me triple hit up and triple hit up and so on. And he went on with 8 years of failure. But what Dustin is telling us now, so the people them coming to the office so they fly out So the people them coming at the office and saw them dead. So the people them coming at the office and saw them retire. So we never have a string. Me never have no responsibility. And me never have a secretary. And Dustin, make me see your Kate M. How you do? Make we see a HR report of the longevity of your staff, Dustin, over the last 8 years. Brittany L. The Easy Jerk World. Well, go on, bro. I'm going 81 on like the life, please. Don't start. Me feel good because me got fish fry and music did nice. Be a 90s music. Patricia Williams, how you do? Dustin, can you provide us an HR report on your staffing from 2016 to now? Make we see how much of your staff and in what capacity and department them retire from, dead from, or migrate from, Dustin. What would have cost your staff them in such a cushy job if you want to migrate, sir? On a ministry they working. Ron Williams, how you do? How discuss are? That's because of dead people. How much people dead in the Ministry of Health? How much of your technocrats or bureaucrats died over the last 8 years, Dustin? How many of your technocrats and bureaucrats migrated? We want those numbers, you know. We want it because we don't. We don't sound with fool. We want to know how much people died from your department, from your ministry over the last 8 years. We want to know how much has retired. And we want to know how much migrated. Because these were the holdup for the 8 years, Dustin. Those were the given reason for the holdup for the last 8 years, why you were not able to submit your appropriation reports to the Auditor General. So can you provide us with the amount of people from your ministry who died, the amount who migrated, and the amount who retired? Also, Dr. Brian, what we are asking as well is that you provide us with the information of the amount of people you have employed as a matter of replacement, Dr. Brian, over the last 8 years. We don't see no. We don't always remember say we don't so no talk. So provide us those three numbers. How much replacement staff have you employed over the last year? How much have died? How much migrated? And how much retired? How much replacement staff, doctor, have you employed to fill any gaping hole that would have prevented the ministry work from being carried out? And so technocrats and bureaucrats hard to find in the public service of Jamaica. I want none of the school now graduate, nobody good enough anymore. That doctor don't stand people them dead, retire, and fly out. And because of that, a simple appropriation report cannot Cannot be submitted on a yearly basis. Late for 8 years, doctor? Dear doctor, for 8 years? You mean say in 8 years, doctor, Michelle Johnson, you couldn't fill the employment gap in your department as the permanent secretary, where you're responsible for the day-to-day and every act. You're responsible for the Dr. Tufton runnings. You're responsible for all of the, make sure you coordinate everybody and get everything done across the ministry. Everybody role and responsibility across the ministry is finance, doctor. And you see the people that are dead. You see the people that are fly out. You see the people that are retire. And you just sit down the doctor and you never employ nobody. So what you say, doctor, over the last 8 years, you run on a very low staffing, sir. Oh, God, them thing with us. You're running on a very, I wonder what Favor and Andrew and Pernell Charles and the whole of them reason are going to be. Like how you take the first bite of the apple, dear Satan. Like how you take the first bite of the apple and you blame fly out, you blame death, and you blame resignation. What kind of lie are going to left for the rest of them tell, sir? How the rest of them are going to manage now? When they can't tell we what reason why they something not submit when you take up so much. You take up whole a tree for you one, and you know say enough for enough to come tell lie. Does this really make sense to the Jamaica people? Anybody that run your corporation couldn't tell you say the reason why your corporation fail is because staff member die or staff member leave. When your corporation have adequate amount of money to re-employ people to get the job done, Jamaica doesn't really make sense. I saw them go on, tell them little type of monkey story lie. You know, really doesn't expect people to come out and believe them something. Yeah? No, man, the Jamaica Labour Party needs to get it together. Me not say no can't lie, you know. Me not say no can't lie. I know that me I say, me not say no can't lie. Because me no hold on no mouth. If you not go lie, you not go lie, you not go lie. But good God Almighty, dress up the lie a little bit, no? Dress up the lie. Make we at least wonder if see he could have go so for too. No make every time we not tell one lie, we come out and say, boy, them people are fool. Then they expect people to believe something like them, yeah? Huh? Understand bad, sir? Why you don't expect anybody at all to believe something goes so? Why, Ladybug, how are you? Why you don't believe anybody would have ever believe? Because people, anytime after people probation, you know, they're allowed to give you a resignation in your specified legal notice period if there is one applicable. Me know when Dustin come out and talk this, he never expect we to believe them. Them just a look sympathy. Because they when Mrs. Sunny Days come out this evening when the court decision when the court decision come, the first thing them draw for is Melissa casket and Melissa picture. And these are the way how some social media people play upon people's vulnerability until people no want to go read and go learn for themselves. Anybody can come play upon emotions. And that Dustin I try to do. let me use this and play upon the emotion. When them here say, because staff dead out of my office, them are going to say, oh God, them have it hard. No, me ruthless and stupid, sir. Me will call you damn idiot. Which part them a type of fool you come from? I mean, any Jamal school picnic could have fooled you better than that, Dustin. Any Jamal school could really fool you better than that. To come up with dead, migration, and retirement doctor as an excuse for an 8-year failure. Almighty God, Jamal book would have write it better. And then the dunce people, them are the gleaner. Come out, come tell us so. Adolph Dunnan, how are you? Them come out, come tell us so. Why? It'll get from bad to worse. Wasara soon coming. Wasara have to come. Because one of the people of Jamaica just sit down with a hand full and I watch them. But I want to play for you, as I spoke to you this morning about the the protests in Kenya, and how, Ranice Nicholson, how are you? Young Kenyans are standing up. But I want to show you Millie, one of the parliamentarians in Kenya, and how she deal with the issue of the 2004 financial President Ruto 2004 financial bill.
This is in response to what you are telling me earlier in the morning when you are urging me to be a good example to the girls, the younger ones who are doing their first term. Mr. Speaker, if they are good girls, they'll never get corner office. Be as bad as Millie Odhiambo, you will be the mother of this house. I am a bad girl, and as a bad girl, I'm here serving my 4th term. So do not be cheated like the African culture where you are told have decorum, dress nicely, be kind, be nice. I'm telling you, you will go nowhere. Be a bad girl like me and you'll get somewhere. Mr. Speaker, having said that, I wish to declare my interest under the standing orders number 90, which Wamushomba stood on, because I don't want to be declared disorderly. And that is because when you have a pecuniary or personal interest, you declare. And Mr. Speaker, I want to declare my interest as a former user of sanitary towels, and as Dynasty as a former user of diapers, and as a future user of diapers. Because as a woman, once you get menopausal, you will have leaks and you will use diapers. And Mr. Speaker, I want to say, it's not all women, so Rosa should not be worried, but there are women who get leaks. And I want to say that there are people, because we don't want to have shame over menopausal issues, we don't want shame over period. And Mr. Speaker, I am saying this because I've been sitting here today listening patiently to the men talking about sanitary towels that is in the finance bill. And they are speaking with authority. If we wanted to save money, the way the finance committee has done, and want to tax anything else, go and tax men innerwears. Go and tax men innerwears. Don't speak on our issues as women. Let us be the one to speak about sanitary towels. We are the ones who know what works for us, and you are saying we want to encourage the local manufacturing. While you are waiting to enable our local manufacturing agencies to create those sanitary towels, will we tell our periods to stop? Our periods will not stop while you are manufacturing. Our girls will have their menses as usual, and the cost that they are used to will be higher because that will come through underground. What I am saying is, Mr. Speaker, I do not support the finance bill. And I'll give you the reasons why I don't support it. One, I don't support it because it's devoid of a strong policy underpinning. Number two, I don't support it because it's not premised on a better model, but on a beta model. The KK government told us that their things are premised on BETA, but increasingly we are seeing it premised on BITTER, beta model. That's why I'll not support it. And Mr. Speaker, the other reason I will not support it, it's because it encourages opulence. Look at how much money I have. Look at the price of my watch. It's a 5 million watch, and I'll explain why, Mr. Speaker. So do not be in a hurry to ask me to explain. I'm going to explain. Mr. Speaker, number one, the one I've talked about, the tax system that is devoid of a strong policy underpinning or premised on a flawed policy underpinning. I will give you the example of the eco-levy that seeks to strike a balance between the economy and ecology but fails miserably to do that. Mr. Speaker, if I give you an example, this government has actually sponsored or facilitated the roads in Fangano Island and the tarmac in Rusinga Island, even though they are taking pretty long. And I want to tell you, Mr. Speaker, that if you are to use this model, the taxing model that they are saying, then it means that a contractor who is doing those roads and earning billions on those roads, Mr. Speaker, when they destroy the environment, the fishermen from Rembaringiti, Rusinga, Mfangano, and Sukuru Island, who will be making at most 1,000, will be asked to repair that person's damage through tax, forgetting the PPP principle. The person who destroys is the one who should pay that damage, not me. The fisherman of Omena making 1,000, you are expecting me to pay the tax of a person who is earning billions doing that road. I do not support this tax. Mr. Speaker, I can give you another example. Mr. Speaker, the second example I'm going to give is on the issue of the smartphones again. And I want to thank Honorable Rachel Nyamai, who actually said that one of the ladies that she's sponsoring her education, when she talked to her, the lady told her, I'm here doing TikTok. And we do not actually seem to understand how that relates to this tax. Now I'll tell how it relates to this tax. Mr. Speaker, if you are taxing digital content, Mr. Speaker, this girl has gone to town. I can tell you after this, Rachel Nyamai, myself and others will be on TikTok. The girls will be imitating us on TikTok. And they will be making money imitating us on TikTok. And then under this tax, we are telling them we are taxing you, TikTok. Why? They are doing that because there are no jobs. They have become innovative and look for their own jobs. And after they have got their own jobs, an industry that has not solidified, like teaching, like law, we want to kill that industry that is helping our young people. That is why the Gen Zs were on the streets. And Mr. Speaker, I'm so thrilled that I was shown a photo of a young girl who looks like me, and some people were saying, Millie, we can see you are here now, you can retire. And I wish she was in my constituency, I would have retired tomorrow. And Mr. Speaker, yesterday, my own niece, who I am the one who was raised since she was in primary school, she's lived in my house. I was with her. And I tried all the means to try and divert her attention from what was going. How she managed to sneak in, and this morning she's telling me, and Mr. Speaker, before I got to what she was telling me, I told her, can I give you a lift to town? She told me, no, auntie, I cannot be associated with members of parliament. Your generation, you have messed this country. We have to fix it. Gen Z. If we do not take Tuesday, Super Tuesday, as a wake-up call as a country, I don't know what else will take up as a wake-up call as a country. And I want to tell the president, who I served with in the same committee in parliament, who was my classmate in the university, fire those guys that you have hired who are giving you economic advice. They are not helping you at all. How do you even imagine bringing something like taxing bread, even if it is as a joke? That is a joke carried too far. That is a joke carried too far. You can crack doctors elsewhere. You can find a situation where the young people have burned the country based on your joke. Try those jokes elsewhere. because Kenyans are suffering. Kenyans are tired of being taxed. And if we cannot listen to the Kenyans who are tired of being taxed, we have no business being in this house. We must listen to the Kenyans. And I want to say that you have done well in trying to deal with some of those issues. But there are still very many that are still here, Mr. Speaker. Because we have a short time, I may not mention all of them. But I want to say, like, for instance, the eco-levy. We are talking about trying to be environmentally friendly. Yet the things that we are taxing, we are not doing exactly that, Mr. Speaker. And we are taking away jobs of young people by the tax. Look at the increase in fuel. We are taking with the right hand. We are saying we are removing the tax with the right hand and adding with the left hand. Mr. Speaker, I had a lot to say about this, but I can see my time is almost up. And what I can see on my side, they want to add me. But I want to say that because of time I may not speak, but I just want to urge the president, fire the guys who are around you, listen to Kenyans. I was speaking to some of my colleagues here. Thank goodness I've been here for a long time. I was speaking, Mr. Speaker, if you could humor me by just giving me 1 minute, and I'll conclude.
My show this morning was to inspire the younger generation of Jamaica, the millennials and Generation Z, to become interested in their politics, take control of their country, take back their country, take the direction, be responsible for the direction of where your country is going, Jamaicans, because this way don't stand carrot gone. I don't know how far away I go follow him go. Ladybug. Ransford McLean, how are you? The some you know. Good evening, and welcome, Lilith Foster. Good evening, thank you for joining us. Good evening, Diana Atkins. Good evening. Morris Wilson. Good evening, Radcliffe Bryan. Good evening, and welcome. Cousin Myrna, are you that? Are you that under Radcliffe name, Cousin Myrna? Good evening, and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. Simone Beckford. Good evening and welcome. I want to inspire, plain Millie for you. Oh, wagwan, cuz, wagwan. I want to inspire Jamaican politicians. I want to inspire a new generation of politicians that really cares about people issue, that can listen to the cry of the people, in particularly in this issue, the protest against the finance bill in Kenya, where the young Kenyans are saying to parliamentarians, reject it. Maya Brown, how are you? Pauline Russell. Reject it. It's not good enough for us. It's not good enough for the country. It's going to bring more economic strain on us. It's going to create lesser jobs for us. It's going to create higher prices for us on a lot of daily usage. Scrap it. You hear what Millie told the president? The plan to tax bread. Go and crack that joke somewhere else, President. This is a joke gone too far. A joke you have never cracked here. Go find somewhere else, William Ruto, and crack that game. Okay. One of the upper five. On the road. Okay. I want to come from Black River. But they don't stand compelled with him. The alarming thing is, for us in Jamaica, politicians can do anything, get away with anything, and there's no outrage in the Jamaican society. What is it going to take for Jamaicans to become outraged of corruption and bad governance and lack of public service. $700 million. A portion of that, the People's National Party is responsible for 8 years of it. All right, McCabe McLean. Me could take off one. Oh, you come from Mobile. I want to go pick up barrels, somebody or what? Nobody come or nobody gone back. I want me to talk say again. 8 years. All right, we're going to take off 700 billion. We'll take off 200 billion and get to Portia Simpson them. We don't know how much Portia them never declare in for them last 2 years. But we'll take off 200. Oh, someone come. Let's take off 200. Give thingy. Give the labor them. Give the PNP them. So 500 billion. Because your staff them dead. So long you sit down and cry, sir. So long you sit down and cry that because your staff them dead. Staff retire and staff gone a foreign. Maybe for greener pastures. Dustin. You're seriously saying that is the reason. You think that is a good enough reason to come out here and explain to us that it is why billions of dollars have been unaccounted for? You'd think members, staff in your ministry dying, retiring, migrating, doctor, is quite a good enough issue to come out, come tell Jamal school dunce like me. Does that really make sense? Do you think that's a viable or believable argument? Do you think the magnitude, doctor, the magnitude of money unaccounted for, the magnitude of money unaccounted for, don't you think you should have a more credible argument for us rather than tell us I was short of staff, doctor? Do you not have money for reemployment and replacement? Does the ministry not have temporary bureaucrats, people on short-term contracts? What, is it so hard to find those people? It is really sickening to see the type of lie they want to tell. Because as I say, I don't mind. I'm not telling nothing to tell lie. I can't hold on the mouth and I can't padlock it. As long as I don't open the mouth, I don't go tell lie. But what I am saying, tell a lie, make we say, I wonder if something goes off it too. You feel say something could have go so. Boy, they kind of believe them say something goes so, you know. Something have to go so, man. Yeah, man, something go so. But for every time when you open on a mouth, we call on a backside old fool. We wanna go with them nonsense like seriously? Come on, doctor. You mean after you go study certificate, diploma, bachelor's, master's, PhD, Lachlan, how you do? You still come out here acting Jamal? After you've gone through those stages of education, and you reach the educational pinnacle, unless we are teaching doctors or teachers at whatever type of university, that's the only time we really get to the pinnacle of professorial work. But the academic pinnacle, doctor is the PhD. One which you hold on a market, me, you, thee, and they. The hold on a doctor, them, and doctor, we, doctor, they, doctor, market, me. The hold on. And you mean to say after you go to that educational pinnacle doctor, you still come back out here with a Jamal School argument because my department was short of staff for 8 years, doctor? How much people have died in your department over the last 8 years? How much have retired over the last 8 years? How much has migrated, doctor, and how much have you re-employed, doctor, to fill the gap? When you don't tell the Jamal School them lie. If you don't want better lie, call me or call somebody who don't know how to tell believable. But you can't just come out here. Karen Cross would have tell a better lie down. Because if a Karen Cross lie, stay 3 years before the court slap it down. I mean, Karen Cross would really tell a better lie down. Why you don't employ Karen to tell lie for? Of course, we're going to say a lie. But I mean, fear lie them sound like more believable than a fool. But I want to thank you all for being here with us this evening on the Global Television channel. It is Friday and it is the weekend. Me, I rest tomorrow on Sunday, unless hell break loose, unless Dr. Tufton wound move to a different part of his body, which will be breaking story. Then we will come live over the weekend. But otherwise, we will be resting until Monday morning for the At a Glance program. Thank you all very much for your weekly support, your daily support, your continuous support to the Global Television Group. Thank you all very much. Have a great weekend and enjoy and be peaceful, and see you on the other side of the weekend. Thank you very much and good night from Global Television.